Hello everyone. So today's video is based on LWC component. So in this video we will gonna discuss what is LWC component and what was the difference between Aura component, LWC and Visual Force page. And at the end of this video I will gonna share you some of the custom component that I have built and will give you the walkthrough. So you can see that there is one slide attached in the LWC, and it is a button called My Custom LWC Action. And if you will click this button, it will basically invoke an LWC. So if you are a Salesforce developer and if your client is saying that, hey, Gagan, can you please build this custom UI using any component available in the Salesforce? So LWC is one of them. So what is the LWC component? So LWC full form is Lightning Web Component and is a modern JavaScript framework developed by Salesforce. So it's mentioned modern JavaScript framework. So basically, when you create a LWC, inside a LWC component, we have four files. One is CSS, HTML, JavaScript, and XML. So basically, whatever the logic that you have to build, the backend logic, we basically use a JavaScript in the LWC component, and it is very lightweight, and this works on the cache of the browser. So these are the few things. So key benefits of this Lightning Web Component is it's using modern JavaScript ES65, which is very fast and which runs on the browser. Apart from that, you can use HTML and CSS. So benefit is that let's suppose that you are new to Salesforce, but you don't know about the Visual Force page and Aura Component because we are not using any common language. But since your background is from computer science or like development work, so you might know about the JavaScript. So if you know the JavaScript, you can easily work on the LWC. So this is like the LWC is following the JavaScript standards. Second thing is fast and lightweight. So performance of the LWC component is really fast as compared to Aura component because it's working on the browser. Aura component is working in the backend system. Is Aura component is a platform of the platform capability of the Salesforce. However, LWC is working on the browser, cache memory of your browser. Again, component based, you build UI as modular, reusable component. Yeah. So basically, you can create your child LWC and you can reusable because like component based UI run natively. LWC runs natively in your browser, unlike Aura component, which require more abstraction. So yeah. So if you wanted to create the LWC, definitely you have to use VS Code as or some other tool. But when you deploy your code, it basically runs on your browser and it give better performance as compared to Aura component. So these are the key benefits of LWC. We move forward. As I told you, in Java in LWC, we have four files: HTML, JavaScript, XML, and CSS. So HTML, I can show you one of the custom component that I built, which is this is one LWC component. You can see it's Lightning Web component. We have HTML file where we have put all the HTML, like whatever the UI that you have built. And to handle when we interact with this HTML, what backend logic has to be executed, we have written that there in the JavaScript. Now and after that we have a CSS file which is optional. You can either delete this CSS file, but if you wanted to add some color styling, then you can use this CSS file. After that, we have XML file where we define whether this LWC is exposed or not exposed. Can be exposed or cannot be exposed. If I will make it false, then this component will not be visible in the Salesforce component. And then we have target config where we basically mention that it which particular page we wanted to add this LWC component. So if I have mentioned the target is Lightning record page, that means this LWC component is addable on record page, app page, and home page. If you wanted to add this LWC in the community page, then you had to change the config and add the community page target. I hope you understand what is the meaning of XML. Basically, it shows that whether it's exposable or not, whether it can be add in the Salesforce or not. And then you have to add the target config where you have to define in which particular page you can add this component. If we go back to my LWC, so these are the structure. Now, if you compare with the Aura component, I told you that LWC is very fast as compared to Aura component because it runs on the browser. Syntax, so LWC uses the standard JavaScript and HTML. So basically, you know what is JavaScript and what is HTML, but Aura component is more like the Salesforce component, and it's very complicated, slow, and it is stored in the backend memory of the Salesforce. Learning curve, yeah, the learning curve is steep because it's more like controlled by Salesforce. However, the LWC is easy to learn because Java based development, right? JavaScript, and JavaScript is very far powerful. Everybody knows that, and it's like open source. You can go and learn that. Browser performance, more overhead, native execution. So LWC basically runs in the browser, so it's a native execution. However, the Aura component is basically running in the background of the Salesforce. So for some of the example of the LWC component is if we wanted to create some custom record forms. So I can show you. This is one of the record forms, right? Let's suppose that I want to create a one record form. So this is a record form of account where I have put some input field, account name, revenue, and industry. If you choose this value and click save, it will create some record. So this is called record form. So one of the use cases, if someone is saying that I wanted to create a record form and I wanted to add this at particular page. As of now, just for the demo purpose, I have added on the account record page, but you can add this record form anywhere. Dashboard and reports. So we know that Salesforce has the capability to build the report and dashboard. You can make interactive dashboards, but again, if there is an requirement to build some sort of dashboard that we are not able to create using out of the box functionality of the Salesforce, and you wanted to create your own dashboard using the JavaScript, then you can use the LWC component, integrate with third party APIs. So let's suppose that there is a component. You can see this is a component, and I wanted to make some data table, and in each and every record I wanted to create a button to send that particular record to outside of the Salesforce system. Let's suppose that I want to create a data table, and in each column of that data table, let's suppose the first record is account, second is second account, third account, fourth account. So in the first account, at the end of that row, there should be a button. If I click that button, it will send a request to third party system. This kind of solution we basically can create using LWC. Lightning record page enhancement, yeah. So one of the use case in my project, basically we cannot add external object. I hope you know that external object is nothing but basically object which get that record from outside of the system in the real time instead of the data which is stored in the Salesforce. So let's suppose that there is an S3 bucket. No, DynamoDB. DynamoDB is like a SQL format of data that we stored, is unified data we store right in the SQL form. So if you wanted to get that SQL format data in the Salesforce in the real time, but you don't actually want to store in the Salesforce, so you use external object. But if you are using external object, then you cannot add external object field in a particular layout. So how to say that? I mean, you have an external object, right? And you wanted to put those information in case object. In the case object layout, you wanted to add the information of external object. So for that, you have to create LWC because there's no way to add the flexi page on related object or the case object. This is one of the like drawback of external object. So you can create lightning record page enhancement using LWC. So this is the one of the use case. LDS. So there is one thing called uh, lightning data service. So definitely if you're using LWC and you're fetching some record, you have to use Apex, right? In Salesforce, in order to fetch the record, we use SOQL query, and SOQL query we basically put that in the Apex class, right? But if there's a requirement, this very easy requirement, you want to fetch some data and show those data in the Salesforce, and you don't want to use Apex class, you just wanted to use that the JavaScript will run something, don't call the Apex class, but fetch the data and show that in the UI. So Lightning Data Service is one of the thing where you don't have to use Apex class. Without using Apex class, you can get the Salesforce record, you can update the Salesforce record. Okay, so this is called Lightning Data Services. Some of the example is the Lightning Data Services, Lightning Record Form, Record View Form, Lightning Record Edit Forms. If someone is saying that what is that LDS, sorry for that. It's almost 1 a.m. here in UK. I'm bit tired, but still I was thinking to complete this video. So if someone is saying in your interview that, hey Gagan, can you tell me if I wanted to fetch some record in LWC, what are the different ways? So one of the ways you can use Lightning Data Service where you don't have to call the Salesforce Apex class, but you can directly fetch the data using LDS without calling the Apex class. So this is one of the way. I think I have put one example. So what is the benefit of LDS since you don't have to use Apex class for the CRUD operation, automatically handle fields level security. You don't have to use with or without sharing in the Apex class because we are not calling Apex class. Reduce server side calls through data caching. Yeah, so you don't have to call the server side calls because the JavaScript itself is fetching the records and doing the CRUD operation. Auto refresh the records. You don't have to use any refresh method in JavaScript or the Apex. It will just auto refresh the data. So first example is Lightning record forms. So first thing is that there are multiple way to create the LWC component, but here in order to create the LWC component, I have used Lightning Studio. This is the Lightning Studio. So it's very simple. You can go to the file, create Lightning Web Component, and it will ask you what is the name of the LWC you wanted to create. Is exposed. You wanted to include CSS in the file, and what are the target configs. So as soon as you will give the target config, it will create a LWC, and will show you here in this list. So since when I get this LWC, I choose target config as expose this LWC. So it's showing that that is exposed true, and these are the target config, whatever I choose. It is coming from here, here. All of these target config are coming from here, and here it is exposed. So these values are coming in this XML. Is exposed and all the target config. So I will give you the demo first. So this form that I created using Lightning record form, which is part of LDS. I can give a name, test data, revenue, any number, agriculture, click save, saying the account is created. Let's go to the account. This is account test data. So account has been created, right, using the Lightning record form. So how this Lightning record form is work? Sorry. So if I go to the Lightning Studio, you can see this account creation form. So if you go to the HTML, we have used Lightning record form. So Lightning record form is basically out of the box Lightning component, you can say Lightning element, where we have created the form. Okay, if you search this Lightning record form on Google, it will give you all the information. So there are different type of Lightning record form, Lightning view form, Lightning edit forms. Okay, and there are multiple parameters. So this is like a simple example of Lightning record form where you have to give of which particular object you wanted to create the Lightning record form. Okay, what all are the fields you want to show in the Lightning record form, and is there any specific record ID? Okay, you wanted to pass. So you have to basically whatever the fields you wanted to fetch, and you want to show as an input field. So these are the input field, industry account name. So you have to fetch this field through this schema. Okay, and you have to import it, and then you have to put this in the fields, and this fields is referred to this HTML. Similarly, any record ID you wanted to pass, like of which particular, if you are passing the record ID, it will work as an update. If you're not passing any record ID, it will create a record. Okay, this is one of the thing. So I can show you my code here. So we have provided we have not provided any record ID. This is just to show you here in the UI in the HTML. Here we have provided the object API name, fields is coming, column, how many columns you wanted to create. You can see there's a two column, one and two. Mode, edit mode, on success. So even if I choose this mode as an edit, it will not work as an edit because this record ID is coming as a null. If you're passing record ID as a null, it will do a insert operation. So if I go to the JavaScript, I imported this three field, name, revenue, and industry. Name, revenue, and industry through the schema, and then I put this in the fields, and this field reference has been given to this HTML, and this is the handle success. So this is just to show the toast message. So you remember when I click submit, it was showing the success message. I will show you again any random value I'm putting. Save. So this is a toast message. So this toast message, the green message is coming to this handler. So as soon as I'm clicking submit, I will show you in HTML. So there's a change when I'm clicking on submit. On success is firing this event handle success. So handle success we are handling here in the JavaScript, and inside the JavaScript we are dispatching this toast message. This message we event you have to basically import through Lightning platform show toast event. So all of this import libraries is mentioned in the Salesforce. There are n number of libraries, so you don't have to remember this. You can just search on the Google and you can find it out. Like if I will go to the show toast message, if I search in the Google, you can find out the information about it. Similarly, for the Lightning record forms, there are so many parameters can't remember this. You can just see what all the things are there. The mode are edit, view, and read only. So they have given the example, so many parameters, so even I don't remember it actually, but I know that there's a Lightning record form kind of things is there. So you can Google it and you can refer this page and look, but don't remember it because there's a huge number of libraries and this kind of elements. So for show toast event, again, there are so many show toast. So this is a show toast. You can see this is an example. So it's mentioned that you have to import this library for show toast, and then this is how you have to basically handle the show toast. Uh, moving forward. Benefit of LDS in LWC we already discussed. Come on. Now I wanted to discuss about the Apex class. So in LDS we have some limitation actually. You cannot make where condition when you are fetching the records. Okay. Here we have just built a form, but again, if you wanted to fetch some record and delete multiple related records, then you can't use this like LDS. For that, you have to use your Apex class because definitely Apex class is very powerful. And if your solution that you're trying to build is very complicated, then definitely you have to use Apex class. Okay, if you are doing integration. So one of the way to call the Apex class in LWC is a wire method. Okay, wire adapter, you can say that wire adapter we use it. Okay, we call wire as a decorator as well. Then in the next videos I will discuss about decorators, element, different other things of the WC as well. But just to understand that if you have to call an Apex class in Salesforce, you have to use wire adapter. And if you are calling an Apex class using wire, you can't edit those data, whatever the data you're fetching through wire adapter. It will be in the read only mode, and you can just process the records and show those record in your UI, but you cannot edit those forms. So this is a limitation. There's another way which is called imperative call in LWC. I will discuss in the next video, but just remember that wire apex method, wire adapter can call the apex, fetch the data, but you cannot edit it. So how you can basically do that? So if you're creating an apex class, you have to be annotate this URI novel cacheable true on that class apex method, and then in your JavaScript you have to import @salesforce slash apex, name of the class, name of the method, and then you have to give any variable you wanted to give, and then you have to use this @wire, and then you have to call the class and method, whatever the method you wanted to call. So one of the example is you can see you can see I have fetched around 10 account records from Apex class, and I have rendered here in the UI. So this is from the wire method. If I go to the LWC and I can show you that HTML, this is just like I'm doing the for loop. Can you see for each? So in Java, in LWC, we use for each to iterate over the list. So this is a list called accounts, and we are looping it one by one and showing the records. So this is the list one by one. We are iterating and it's showing all the accounts. In the JavaScript, we are importing this class method get accounts, and then we are using the wire adapter. Okay, so when you are using wire adapter, you have to use here. You have to declare this in the Lightning element. Okay, and then we're calling this get accounts, and this get accounts giving us all the query that we have mentioned here. So if you go to the account controller, this is very simple class. is just querying 10 accounts and returning it. If we are calling this class, this method, it's giving us this 10 accounts. And since we are calling this method from LWC, it should be or enabled cacheable true. If I go to the JavaScript, we are importing the same class and method and using y adapter to call this class. And this is giving us data or error. If data is coming, we are putting this account, all the data, whatever the data is coming to this account. This account, we declared this account, right? And this account is being iterated here in this LWC. One by one, all the account is getting iterated and we are entering in this LI. Hence, this is showing all the 10 accounts. So this is how we use LWC. LWC is very easy. It's not like a rocket science. And don't force yourselves to learn the JavaScript. You will eventually learn it by doing the work again and again. So that's all about this video. If you like this video, please subscribe this channel. If you will support this channel, I will make some other videos and will try to help you out to become a good Salesforce developer. Thank you.